Alright, so this is probably about our like 5th or 6th time trying out the full self-driving beta 10.2. So we're gonna just start out here in a neighborhood, and then we're gonna head to a local market. So we have here, the streets here don't have curbs on them. It seems to be handling it okay. Have definitely seen situations where the car seems to drive in the middle a little bit, but it'll get itself over when there's oncoming traffic. So like, it definitely should not have stopped that heavily there. That person was plenty on their own side there, and it gave a decent amount of braking. I guess I'd rather it be more cautious and on the safe side. So far in my experience using the full self-driving beta, haven't had a lot of nothing crazy bad that really made me fear it was going to do something that put me in danger. It's had some decisions for sure that I probably wouldn't have made the same decision, but it's been overall, I think, pretty smooth. In general, it's kind of shaky with some of its decisions, but it's making the correct decisions, I'm finding. It's just, it seems like a new driver, like it's learning. And I've definitely noticed it getting better as time goes on. There we go. It's definitely a little slower around oncoming traffic on these roads that don't have lane markings, which I guess is to be expected. You should be probably a little bit more cautious on roads that are two-way traffic, but no lines. So yeah, in general, it's making the correct decisions. It's just kind of unsure of itself sometimes, and I feel like if it just went for it, it would make that right decision more smoothly. So it's kind of jerky in a lot of the turns. I mean, you can see even here the wheel's a little bit jerky, just navigating some of these roads. Okay, so did that turn okay there, and we got some more oncoming traffic. It's a little jerky there with the oncoming traffic. I think, again, it's just being cautious with unmarked roads like this. We're gonna get up here, and the turn it's gonna have to make.
It's like, it has like a whole nother foot at least.
Yeah, the car could definitely be getting to the right more in general, but it's definitely trying to center itself. My guess is that'll get better with time as it learns the area and starts to figure out things. Like the fact maybe it's not sure the road is two-way traffic. So we have to make a left here at the stop sign, and the cross traffic does not have a stop sign. So we're gonna definitely watch it very closely here. It's a little bit of a blind turn, and we have a car behind us, so we're not gonna belabor the situation too much. Okay. It honestly did that a little better than I thought it was. I didn't think it was gonna go for it there. I think it was appropriate to go for it, but I was a little bit doubtful that it would, so I think that was good. I do have my lane keeping type setting set to Mad Max, so it is set to be more aggressive in general. I mentioned one thing that I think of as a positive is a lot of these roads that are marked 35, 40 miles per hour. Previously, you couldn't go more than 5 miles over the speed limit, and if it's a very busy road, traffic would generally flow faster than that. So you would have to disengage just because you were going too slow compared to what traffic wanted to go. And now it appears that with the beta, you can go more than 5 over. It doesn't seem to have that same restriction on the smaller roads. Now, with that said, my Model Y, it does have the radar. It's a 2020, so I wasn't capped at 80 miles per hour before, and I now am capped at 80 miles per hour on the highway. do have a right arrow here. Let's see, we did. Okay. Handled a right arrow just fine. Alright, so we're going to cancel and put canal sitting here. Let's start by going back up that way. So this is definitely a busier road here with a lot more lanes. I think if I was driving this with the turn coming up in 0.2 miles, I probably would have. Okay, it's getting over now.
Just gonna freak out about that car. Well, that's surprising.
Oh, yeah, it did okay there. I was thinking the same thing, that I was going to brake pretty hard on that. So that was good. Here in the Midwest in Ohio, we have a lot of very wide roads with lots of lanes, so and there's a lot of turns that come up pretty quick, so it does frequently have to make decisions.
Will it go here though? Because
yeah, so it should make a right on red here, and it is inching forward. I don't have anyone behind me, so I'm letting it take its time. So it knows that it can make a right on red, and it's looking to go, and there it goes. Okay, so that was good. Said if I was doing it, I probably would have made that decision faster, but it made it safely. You know, it creeped out. It even alerted me on the screen that it was trying to creep out.
this car, wash this car. Did that do that?
Yeah, it did that.
Why are you still moving?
So the car was pretty smart there. That person was definitely creeping out and should not have, and the car slowed down, anticipating them pulling out. So it definitely did a good job there. For sure, a good test. This is one of those roads I was talking about before. The speed limit is 35, and you can see that people are going, like, I have it set to 40, and, you know, I'm being passed pretty easily. So, you know, if I'm driving this manually, I'll usually go at least 45, if not 50, depending on traffic. Like, I bumped up to 45, and it wouldn't let me do this in the past. In the past, on this specific road, it capped me at 40. So now I'm jumping up to 45, and, you know, I think it's safer that I can bump it up higher when I find that it's appropriate. So definitely appreciate that. And then the road jumps up here to 45, and most people just kind of abide by that. So I'm going to bump my speed up here just to not be holding traffic down. I definitely think it's nice coming from not having the beta to having the beta that I don't have to signal all the green lights. It'll just go through the green lights on its own. I don't have to, you know, hit the button or anything. So that's definitely a nice feature. They had somewhere to be with their pink fluffy steering wheel.
I thought it was a pillow at first, like an airplane pillow.
Yeah, I'm going 5 over the speed limit. I'm being passed. So it just gives you an idea that it's good to have that option to go faster if you need to. So.
Slow down. Oh my god. Slow down, please.
Let's put in a different location for the nav. Try a few turns out here. I was trying to get over.
Oh my god, there's a car right there.
It sees it. It's trying to get over, probably a little too soon. Could have waited a little bit there, but it's definitely a little bit busier of a time of day, so I think it's good to test out with these kind of environments. Got in the far left lane there. That's where I would have wanted it to go, so I'm glad it did that. I know it certainly make my wife uneasy how aggressive it drives. But I am curious, and I'll have to test it out, how the aggressiveness changes if I change the settings. Because I have in here, where is it at? Under the navigate on the speed-based lane changes, I have it set to Mad Max. So I think that's probably more of why it's doing some of those sudden things. I'll definitely have to try changing some of these settings to the speed-based lane changes and see if it eases up on some of that. That aggressive style doesn't bother me, but it certainly is making my wife feel uneasy. Make sure it's staying in our lane here, which it did. See, it was good there because that right of the two turning lanes, it merges right away there. So we definitely wanted it to be in the left of the lanes, and it did correctly do that. I kind of expected it just to go to that first one. So I don't know if it knew that it needed to do that or if that was just the decision it happened to make. But either way, that's for sure the decision I wanted it to make, is to be in that lane so it wouldn't have to jump over before that merge, especially with traffic off the light. Definitely handles tight turns and things okay now, whereas before, even if you were just using autopilot, not turning or anything, if you were on a tight curb, it would have some problems. So we don't have a stop sign here, so it shouldn't really be stopping to wait. And it didn't. Okay. So that was good. I had a situation before where my direction did not have a stop sign, but the cross traffic did have a stop sign, and the car still stopped, to almost like it wanted to let the other car go, like it assumed all four directions did not have a stop sign. But that time it didn't do that, so that was good.
Oh god, there's a person in the crosswalk.
So let's see if we murder the person in the crosswalk. No, it did what you would have expected. It slowed down, stopped, waited for the person to cross the crosswalk.
You need to just do it, I think, because there's a car, Matthew.
Alright, so I don't know what it was doing there. Definitely had to disengage. It was just kind of taking its own time, and it didn't need to. I don't know if, surprisingly, the car was trying to be overly polite. But the other guy was waving me to go, and there was no reason either of us had to wave. I was turning and he was turning. We weren't affecting each other, so. Here's a tight turn it has to make, and it didn't curb my rim, so that was good. We're just driving through a parked area now. Alright, so I'm going to park and stop the video. But I think overall this drive was pretty successful. There's definitely, it's making some decisions very quickly and very rash, but I don't think it's making any wrong decisions on this drive that I know of. So overall, pretty happy with the way this went so far. So thanks for tuning in. Hopefully the quality of this video was much better than the last one. And the camera mount wasn't as bouncy or making anyone sick watching it. So stick around for more videos in the future.